Hello everybody, I am Secret Agent Bry Guy, and I haven't even started a drama series since I think a couple months ago, or maybe since the roast game debate shitstorm saga. Because other than the Vashland set and the EMC Wilkincade and Going Gone drama, I haven't really been documenting drama like this in such a long time. This would probably be a limited drama series anyways, but let's get over some funny junk drama. This all came from the comment section of the post called Proving the Roast Game Death Toll by Bashing the Religious. It starts at number 11 with TV saying, "Oh shit, this is back. Gonna watch later and see if it's coherent this time." Then X Diabolic X responds at number 3 with, "Can you provide a source for where you got that 977,280 number?" And I responded, "It's just a mathematical result." And then he responded back and said, "A result from what numbers? And where can I find those numbers you used to get that result?" And then comes Brazinio. His first response is, "Some nobody furry saying Christians are eating their kids for not believing in Christmas. Good lord, we've reached critical tipping levels. By the way, I skimmed over every one of your sources that state nothing of that scope. Don't know what the fuck you've been smoking to reach that conclusion." If you only watched the fucking video, I already explained it. But you didn't. You completely ignored the videos and just skimmed through my sources. And I responded, "Talk about argument from ignorance." Then he responded, "Look mate, I've seen some outlandish anti-religious jargon in my time, but if you're gonna make the accusation that there's more kids being murdered and cannibalized than people dying in Syria, you gotta have some pretty credible sources to back up that claim, because that takes the cake. Especially if it's happening today, because I might have believed you if it was some old medieval nursery rhyme. The brutal, scary ones that were made up to get peasant children to behave. But so far, none of the sources posted don't even suggest this possibility, the closest simply being statistics of child homicide, nothing stating cannibalism as a dominant cause. Where'd you get your numbers? Who said it? Simply saying I calculated it is just as valuable as saying I made them up." Well, look here, you insufferable, disingenuous cunt. I did not make those numbers up. I've done the research. I've gotten those numbers from the fucking sources that I cited in that video. Is it really that fucking hard to understand that? You know that I'm not making those numbers up myself, but you're lying about it anyway. Why is that? Maybe it's because I reached that conclusion from doing that research? Is it really such a terrible crime for me to do my own research and to think for myself? Am I really that close-minded to you, or are you just a lying piece of shit? Just because your profile picture has a fucking pony and a MAGA hat on top of it, it doesn't automatically make you correct. It just makes you look like even more of a fucking smug douchebag. As I responded to him saying, "No, calculating the numbers means that I get the result, not that I made them up. I do have sources to back up my claims. You're just in denial. You only said I made them up because that's all you can do to be this fucking ignorant. Don't know why you have to be this fucking ignorant. You could just look through the sourced links in the description of that video and followed them, not just ignored them, or not just go through the sources and not watch the fucking video." That's how angry I am right now. I just blew up. You got what you wanted, a fucking rise out of me. But that's not a good thing. You could have been honest. You could have not just been a troll or a disingenuous cunt. You shouldn't have just taken this whole fucking video up the ass and lie about it. If you were actually honest, you would just watch the video and look through the links and make a decision whether or not you agree with it. Then he replies back with, "Yeah, I read the sources. That's why I'm calling you out on your BS, because they don't support your argument." Well, if you actually had one, instead of just accusing anyone questioning your reasoning by saying they're in denial, you still haven't answered my question. If the sources actually do state there's kids literally being eaten by their parents for not believing in frickin' Santa Claus, you better tell me where, because I don't see it whatsoever. That was not the point of the fucking video. It's to count off pretty much all the other causes of child death so I can reach my conclusion. That's it, and I've proven my point fair and square with no bias. I respond to him by quoting him, "That's why I'm calling you out on your BS, because they don't support your argument." Well, if you actually had one, instead of just accusing anyone questioning your reasoning by saying they're in denial, then I responded to that by saying, "Projection much?" I called you out on your bullshit because you yourself claimed that I made those numbers up, which is blatantly false, because if you haven't heard of calculating numbers from statistics, you would get the sense that you are not just lying to yourself, you're lying to me and anyone else who would obviously agree with you. But no, you don't fucking care about facts, statistics, or reality. All you care about is your fucking feelings. I get the number by subtracting the deaths to get the amount of child deaths per year. Case in point, the roast game death toll. During the period of 19 years, I count off pretty much all other causes of child death to reach my conclusion. And boy oh boy, I'm gonna try to hold it in for the next few fucking screenshots, because I'm gonna get mad at the very end. It's gonna be a pretty lengthy rant, so you've been warned. Brisnio responds with, "Well, good work on the 3rd grade math. Here's also another statistic fact. Simply putting whatever label on what's left after subtracting every other major factor is exactly the opposite of how statistics work. This is pretty much saying, well, after subtracting pepperoni, meat lovers, Hawaiian, and supreme from types of pizza ordered, everyone else must have ordered mayo and banana pizzas." Obviously a straw man. You're going into this assuming that your premise of Christians eating children is already correct and that somehow they kill millions of kids every day with no one batting an eye. I'm asking you, where, anywhere, does this say is happening? None of your sources infer or claim cannibalism as any major or minor factor. The only one making that claim here is you and the very, very stark few conspiracy theorists that are peddling this roast game, which is so downright absurd it's hilarious. For those of you on the sidelines, apparently the roast game is real, because if you ask someone if children are special and they say yes, and then ask, is a Christmas roast special, and they also say yes, then get angry at you when you say they therefore ate their children. Yeah, that was a bit of a concept. Yeah, a bit of deductive reasoning, but that was it. There's just no reason to belittle me to begin with. Like, look, I get there are people who are upset with religion in general, and there are good reasons for it, but latching onto every sort of weird, baseless accusation against them only makes you look like the ignorant fool here. Stop pushing fake news, bud. And I'm not really gonna read out all the fucking responses to that, because that's obviously his petty attempt for a rebuttal. Then he responds, "Look mate, I humored you, I watched your video, read your sources, even did some extra research to get more context. If there is something like the roast game that legitimately exists, well, that'd be a concerning thing. But everything that I have read so far completely goes against everything you say, and yet you're the one calling me ignorant. No, I'm just mocking you because you're talking like a broken record and are starting around like you've somehow proven me wrong by subtracting some numbers and putting your own personal theories on what the remainder is without any actual backing other than your opinion. Wow. How fucking petty of you to dismiss anything that goes against your worldview as just an opinion. Whine about logical fallacies all you like, but you're not helping yourself at all. The argument's over." And I responded back to him, "The argument's over. I'm not a pigeon. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You lost. I won." And then he sarcastically replied with, "If you say so." Either he dismisses me as a conspiracy theorist and claimed that I never really did any research while ignoring the video and the sources, or he just doesn't give a shit and he acts like a dickhead and fucking belittles me and demeans me as a person for even reaching my conclusion with evidence, sources, and actually doing the math. We live in the world where somebody like me gets shitted on, belittled, and demeaned for the terrible crime of doing my own research and actually and honestly reaching my conclusion the right way. It's one thing where I'm criticizing Brisnio and debunking his strawman arguments. It's something totally different where Brisnio is belittling, demeaning, and shitting on me for having that view to begin with. And it's particularly different that someone on FunnyJunk known as Brisnio can claim to be holier than thou than to blatantly ignore every single fact, link, or source, or even video thrown his way just because it doesn't fit with his agenda or worldview. And that's fucking it. I am done. I know I blew up earlier, but that's what took the rest of my rage. I am Secret Agent Bry Guy, signing out.